Hello, everybody. I believe we are live and right on time, which I'm excited about, which is also kind of a miracle because this was kind of a hectic time getting this going. Um, one thing, exciting thing, this is my first live stream with my new two screen setup. So all this time of doing this channel, even going into doing full time on this channel, I've just been using my one laptop. But I've always wanted a second monitor, but I never wanted to pay very much. So just earlier this week, I went to a pawn shop and I got this really nice big screen. I don't know the exact size, but big screen Samsung monitor for $15. And then I went over to Best Buy and I got a cord for it so I could plug it into my laptop for $9. So $24 monitor setup. Works great. So that's cool. Only thing is, I realized right before going live that I don't have enough USB ports on my laptop now that I'm plugging in a keyboard into it to also plug in my phone to use as a camera. So I knew I had an adapter for more USB ports. I was looking around. I could not find it. So I don't have a keyboard right now. So if I need to type anything, I will be going over here to my monitor. No, over here to my laptop and just use that keyboard. And then I also realized right before going live, I never posted about this on Instagram. So that's too bad. I did real quick, just make a little post in my YouTube community feed, real quick, just for that. I would have done a post on Instagram, except you can only do stories on your phone, and I'm using my phone for my camera, and I'm like, I'm not taking that down. So it's been a hectic time. Hopefully, I already see we've got over 50 people in here, which is cool because there's not been a lot of press for this. I haven't advertised it very well. And we're kind of low on an agenda, really. We're mostly just going to hang out. So far, for the last few months, I've been doing pretty good on doing a monthly live stream hangout. This is going to be one for August. We're getting it in right under the wire. And basically, we're just going to be hanging out, getting excited for the spooky season that's just about to kick off. For a lot of us, it's been spooky season for a long time, maybe even all year. But we're really going into the official one. You guys are getting a sneak peek at my fall setup that I got going because I have already filmed and edited my autumn movies video that's going to be coming on Sunday. Normally, I'd like to put that out in September, but Sunday is August 31st, and I'm like, I want it to go out on a Sunday. So it's going out on August 31st, so that'll be exciting. But you guys are getting a look at it. So I got my leaves up, got my orange lights up. I love it. And I got a little purple lighting going on here in the back. It's very Halloween-y. I'm digging it. Let me go ahead and just pop over to the chat real quick and say hi to people. Right at the start, before I even went live, we had William Cinema in here. What's up, man? We've got Spriglet, hello. Thank you so much for being here. Can't get no. Maybe satisfaction, maybe something else. I'm not sure. But whatever it is, that gorilla man can't get no. Hello, thank you so much for being here. Hello, Anthony. Appreciate you. Hi, AG. Hello, Penelope. My son is really into a picture book right now. It's about a character named Penelope, so that's what I automatically think. But hello, thank you for being here. Hello, Storybook Cottage. Hello, Paloma. So over the summer, yes. Actually, we've been getting some cooler weather here for like the past week. It's been super nice. Today was a little bit warmer, but still like nice, just like the most neutral temperatures. And it's been beautiful. We had one day that was pretty darn cool, and I loved it. It was awesome. We got Kevin. Hello, hello. We've got Chase from AVA Pop Culture. Today, I just filmed a little video for Chase because Chase is doing some kind of compilation video kind of thing that I'm going to be in. And I filmed and edited that, sent it over to him today. So that was fun. Low 60s here in New York. That is awesome. Congratulations. Hello, Fightins. Hello, Michael. Oh, cool. Well, thank you so much for being here, man. I really appreciate it. You came just in time because spooky season is going to be big and it's going to be fun. Hello, Linda. Yes. Nice for you to be here. Absolutely. Gory tiger. I love it. If I ever ask my son, what does the tiger say? He goes, rawr. And it's great. I love it. I like this channel if I'm watching this instead of Peacemaker tonight. I've never seen Peacemaker. That's my confession. Hello, Vanderhoff. Yes, it'll be a fun stream. We are going to be doing a couple of unboxings. So Vanderhoff actually sent me something, and he really stressed that you need to open it on camera. And I'm like, I'll do it. I promise. So I'm going to be opening that, what he sent me. I don't know what it is. I keep meaning to get a PO box together. I will do that soon, I promise, because a lot of people ask to send me things, and I do give out my address if I got a good feeling. I've talked to the person a little bit, and I get a good feeling they're a real person, they're not some weirdo. So I did have Vanderhoff send me something, but sometimes I get people messaging me asking for my address. They want to send me something, and I've never talked to them. I've never seen their name before, and I'm like, not gonna do that. But I'll get back to you when I get a PO box together. So I will. And then also I got a Vinegar Syndrome package. So I did place a Vin order. So I got a few things I'm going to show y'all. Hello, Christine. We got 60 people. I loved your inclusion of Dirty Work. Sad about Longfellow, Devin, and welcome to leaving SNL. I haven't watched SNL in a long time, so I don't even know who any of those people are, but I believe you that they're great. Yeah, Dirty Work is so funny. Like I said, I showed it at my birthday marathon, and some people loved it. Some people got nothing out of it. And they were like, why do you like this? It's a very particular kind of humor. But when it's a particular kind of humor and it's not generic, some people are going to love it and some people are going to hate it. And that's the way it's going to go. Hello, SJM Hadsock. Hello, XL Tomato. I like that. That's a great name. Spooksters. I like that too. Hello, Ron. Let's see, 75. That's pretty good. That's not bad. It's probably about the same here. I think it got up to like low 80s today, but still felt real nice. Not bad for end of August. In where I'm at, Vancouver, I'm sure that's a different story. Hello, Colin. I think I already said hi, AG, but I don't want to risk just skipping by you. So hi, AG. Hello, Susan. Ooh, it's a rainy night. Love it. I love a rainy night, especially if there's thunder. Thank you, Bobbert. Bobbert, that's great. And your picture is deodorant. I love that too. That's awesome. Hi, Connie. Is that me? Am I spooky movie guy? I'll take it. That's great. Hello, Fachi Cinema. Oh, thanks, man. I appreciate you. Yes, I was on it was a live stream, right? Yeah, it was a live stream recently with Fachi over on his channel, and we talked about top 10 horror movies of the year so far. I will tell you, my top 10 has changed quite a bit because I've seen, I think, just two movies since then that are now in my top 10, so things have changed. But yeah, that was fun. Hello, Cameron. Oh, Vermont. I talked a little bit about Vermont in my fall video that's going to be dropping on Sunday. Never been to Vermont, but I want to go so bad. I love like while I'm editing, I love putting on videos that are just like Vermont in the fall, and it's just like people post vlogs and they just like walk around Vermont in the fall, and it's the prettiest thing I've ever seen. Let's see. Hello, Small Cleric. Hello. We got Thomas Coomer, one of the most OGs around my channel. Thank you for being here, all the way from Germany. Oh, he made this. Okay, that's great. We will get to that unboxing soon. I'm really excited. This guy gets me in the fall mood better than anyone. Thanks. I appreciate it. Yes, absolutely. Chase's channel is great. Enjoyed his Vinegar Syndrome video today. I will say, Chase, I don't know. I would be sad if you move your Vinegar Syndrome rankings just over to Patreon, but I also feel bad about that because I'm like, well, I should just be on Patreon, but I'm not on Patreon. On Chase's Patreon, that is. But I would love to keep watching those for sure. I love those. Yes, Autumn Vibes. Thanks, man. Or lady. I do not know, but I appreciate that. I should do a video of your favorite Halloween spooky ghost documentaries that come on TV, like specifically History Channel. Not so much into that sort of thing. My experience with documentaries is pretty low. I haven't seen very many. So unfortunately, I couldn't do that kind of thing. I do really like fake documentaries. I like found footage movies that are, that reminds me, also Strange Harvest would make 3 movies I've seen since I did the Fachi stream that would now be in my top 10 movies of the year so far. So yeah, that list would be very different. Strange Harvest is a really good fake documentary. I like those found footage movies that are made like documentaries, but I haven't seen a lot of actual documentaries. Let's see. Only person who's seen The Midnight Hour. Oh, cool. I learned about that movie from my dad. My dad saw that movie back in the day when it came out, and he's always been a big fan, so he showed it to me. And funny enough, the first time I saw it, I was like, yeah, that was good. And then the second time, I was like, ooh, okay, actually, I really love this. This is like a big comfort movie. Keanu Utopia. That's an awesome name. Just stumbled on your channel not too long ago, but binge watching your videos. Thank you. I hear that a lot from people, and that kind of blows my mind that people binge watch the channel, but I appreciate that. That's really good for the algorithm. If the algorithm gets a sense people are binge watching your channel, you're in a good spot. So thank you. Uh, we got that guy. We got Obsolete Elite. Yes, you are one of the most active people in my comment section, which I really appreciate. I see you around a lot. And I think you were the one who recently said that like we had a big disagreement about Jacob's Ladder. And I will just say, I don't think it's that much of a disagreement. Like that's Jacob's Ladder is one of those movies that like I don't take a hard stance that there's something wrong with it. I might just not get it, you know, like that's when it finished, I was just like, huh, like I understood what the ending was and I know what it means, but something about the movie wasn't clicking with me. I don't know, but it's not like an intellectual thing to disagree about. I just, I don't know, some kind of gut reaction. But there's a lot about the movie that's very interesting. So it certainly wasn't a dislike. Thank you, Penelope. I appreciate that. Andrea, I love autumn, but for me here in Melbourne, Australia, we're just finishing up winter and about to head into spring, so Halloween hits a bit different here. I have another friend who's from who lives in Melbourne, Australia, too, so that's cool. Christine, Norm Macdonald is not for everyone. Yeah, sure, but for me, I think he's the funniest stand-up comedian ever. Like, it's just the best. Also, like on one of his stand-up comedy albums, I can't remember which one, but it opens up with a skit about the naming of the Fantastic Four. And it is amazing. It's so funny. Oh, let's see. Spooky season, is time for WNUF Halloween special. Yes, and I'm so excited. I got the Blu-ray from Terror Vision for the sequel to WNUF Halloween special. It's called the All Out There Halloween Mega Tape. And I don't think it's on streaming at all, but I got the Blu-ray, so I will be watching that for this year's Halloween video. So I'm really excited for that. Yeah, I bet it is. My brother lives in Texas now, and no one from our family is from Texas, so he just moved out there on his own. And he's always like, you guys should come move to Texas with me. And I'm like, I will never move to Texas. Never, because they do not have fall. They barely have winter. My sense of Texas is like, it's hot all the time, and then sometimes there are ice storms. So I'm like, no, I'm good where I'm at. Oh, yeah, that's too hot for sure. Yeah, Fachi, I'm going to guess they are Weapons and Together. Those are two of mine. That's what I'm guessing yours are. How did you come to have such an encyclopedic knowledge of horror movies and the actors? Well, I don't know if it's quite encyclopedic, but it's really just from watching a lot. Like I grew up a fan of like the classic monsters, but for most horror stuff, I was terrified. And I think that's really what set me up to be a giant horror fan, because like it caused such a visceral reaction in me that like, you know, you kind of can't help but be drawn to something like that. It's kind of like how I was just at Spirit Halloween with my son, and he's terrified by the giant animatronic things, but he also doesn't want to leave them. Like he like loves them and he's terrified. That's exactly like how I was as a kid. So I get the sense he's probably going to be a big horror fan. And just from watching a lot, you know, like especially once I hit probably like once I graduated high school, because during high school I was super busy with like extracurriculars. I wasn't watching as many movies. Like right after high school, I just dove into movies in general, but quickly horror movies most. And yeah, just from watching a lot, I just love it. You know, that's the only way that you can do what I do here on YouTube for so long, is if you like legit just love doing this, the kind of thing. Otherwise it would feel like work, and it doesn't, not yet. Mr. Ralph Rosa, hello. Yeah, I think Weapons is so awesome. I've gotten a few contrarians in my comments section. They're like, Weapons is so boring. I got this one guy saying I fell asleep during that movie. I think people are getting paid off to say it's good. And I was like, dude, by your own admission, you were unconscious during the movie. Like, what do you know about it? Like, you were asleep. I don't understand being bored by Weapons. Sometimes when I get people in my comments saying certain movies are so boring, I'm like, you got to delete TikTok off your phone. You got to rebuild your attention span. Because if you think Weapons is boring, like you got to rebuild your brain or something. I don't know. Maybe that's too mean, but that's just not a boring movie at all to me. I have to tell you, I purchased many discs for my collection based on videos. Cool. That's awesome. Not the picture of Michael Myers. I've kind of been doing this new thumbnail style, which seems to be working pretty well. And I think I invented it because I don't think I've seen anybody else quite do it, but where it's me and there's text, and then I just put like an image from a movie over here. What I see more commonly is like the Cody Leach style where you're in the middle and there are two images and there's text on the bottom. So I just kind of moved it and it seems to be working well. And that's what that is. And I just put Michael Myers in the stream in the picture just because I love Michael Myers and it's kind of Halloween themed. This stream is. So I'm like, Michael, he's going up there. But no, that's just a poster for Halloween there. But it's all designed by me. Yeah. Other than that, Weapon Sinners bring her back 28 years later. Yes. I'm so glad to hear you say 28 years later because I know some people hate that one, but I loved it. Yeah. Those are four very, very good movies. Hello, Beth. Thank you for jumping in. Awesome. I appreciate that. I love doing it. Ooh, Vanderhoff has seen Weapons twice. That's so great. Yes, indeed. Oh, okay. Paloma is a lady. All right. I apologize for that default. I'm busting into the pumpkin spice. Heck yeah. You know what's sad is I wish I liked pumpkin spice, and I don't that much. I do like some pumpkin like baked goods. Like I make pumpkin donuts. Usually like when fall kicks off, some mornings I make pumpkin donuts and some mornings I make apple cider donuts. I like pumpkin bread, but like pumpkin spice coffee, I don't really like it. And I wish I did. My wife does though. She already got a pumpkin spice drink from Starbucks. They already started doing that this year. Let's see. Hello, Slime and Slashers Horror and Nostalgia. I get a sense from your name and your picture you have a channel. So tell me if that's true and I'll have to look you up. But thank you so much for being here. It is absolutely the most wonderful time of the year. Hello, Professor Dave. That's a great name. Thanks. I appreciate you. What's one of your favorite sitcom Halloween episodes? Gosh, that's tough. I'm not super knowledgeable about sitcoms. I don't know. Maybe you guys will have to jog my memory. I can't think of any. I mean, I know there have I believe there have been Halloween episodes of like Parks and Rec, which is one of my favorite shows. But I can't remember any of them off the top of my head. You know what's funny is when I was a kid, most of the sitcoms I grew up on were like from the 1960s because like that's what my parents watched. And we didn't have regular TV for most of my childhood. So I wasn't tuning into the shows of my time that much until like my sisters got to be a little bit older and they started getting like the Disney shows like Hannah Montana and stuff and Wizards of Waverly Place. But I can't remember any specific Halloween episodes. Good question though. Confession time. I've only seen a few found footage movies. Yeah, I mean, there's good ones out there. It's not the thing with found footage I've noticed is like if it's great, I love it. If it's less than great, I often like find it kind of unwatchable. Like sometimes I almost have to turn them off because I'm just like, I don't know, they can feel so aimless sometimes. And the filming style, it's like the filming style of them, if it's great, it'll suck me in. But if it's not great, it really bothers me. So that's one of those subgenres that like I'm pickier about than a lot of other subgenres. Cool. I'm very happy to hear that. That is wonderful. Check out Lego Haunted Mansion and other Halloween sets. Oh, like there is a Lego set of the Haunted Mansion. That'd be awesome because I love Disney Haunted Mansion. I love like anything Disney Haunted Mansion related. And I used to love putting Lego sets together until, you guessed it, my son was born. And then that kind of just went away. But eventually he'll get older and I'll probably get back into it. Yeah, I've never seen Frasier, but I recently started watching Cheers, which I'd never seen before. And I love Cheers. I don't think there's been a Halloween episode that I've seen yet. It was only recently that I found out that Frasier is a Cheers spinoff because so far where I'm at in Cheers, which is in season 2, we've not met Frasier. He's not a character. So I didn't even know that until somebody told me that recently. Hail from Stephen King country, Maine, I'm guessing. That's awesome. Are you planning on seeing The Long Walk? Yes. I can't remember when it's coming out. But yeah, I've seen that trailer. And I don't know. That's a movie that could go either way. I'm not like in love with the trailer, but I'm intrigued, and I'll totally check it out because I like Stephen King stuff, and it sounds like an interesting enough story. And it's got Mark Hamill, which is cool. I'm always happy to see Mark Hamill. Thank you, Linda. Oh, that's great. We've not started decorating upstairs yet, but I'm gonna run it by my wife that maybe we should this weekend because like my autumn videos dropping this weekend feels like the time is right. But also we got a project we're doing downstairs. We're like moving her home office down here. So we got a lot to do this weekend. Yes, I did see the Jacob's Ladder comment, and I totally respect it. I totally do. Uh, Nice. That's awesome, Susan. Yeah, that is such a fun. I would just love to own that in HD. It's too bad that like really the only way you can see it these days is just on YouTube. And it looks fine on YouTube. Like it's totally watchable, but I would love to see it in better quality. That would just be a game changer. Yes, I have seen Hot Rod. Hot Rod is a classic of my high school years. And I rewatched it a few years ago, and I was like, this movie holds up. It is still funny. It's one of those comedies that just they're constantly throwing gags at you, like constantly. And like there's so many funny ones. And like, man, back in high school, we had a good friend. I haven't seen him in years, but we had a good friend who like looked and sounded so much like Andy Samberg. So we watch Hot Rod and be like, "That's you." It's crazy. Let's see. Okay, so Frasier's got a good Halloween episode. Right on, right on. Let's see. Oh, that's interesting. Penelope saw Jacob's Ladder opening night in oversold theater. Had to stand back and watch it. Wow, we got 233 people in here, even though forgot to post on Instagram. Thank you guys. Yeah, I'm hoping I don't know if I want to see Toxic Avenger this weekend. Yeah, I'm really curious about it. William Martin, where'd you find that shirt? Amazon, honestly. Like I bought it when I did my halfway to Halloween video this year. And I just wanted something like this. And I just looked around on Amazon and I found it. I tried to find it on Amazon the other day because I wanted to give somebody a link who asked for it. And I couldn't find it anymore. But Amazon does have a lot of men's Halloween button-up shirts. There's a lot of options, so I'd recommend looking it up. It's honestly like it's not a nice shirt, like the material's not great, but it looks cool on camera and it's comfortable enough, but it's like not very breathable, so I probably wouldn't wear it out that much, or I'd probably get too hot. We got, let's see, Kskaye. I'm going to say Kskaye. Found your channel about a month ago. Really good channel. I love it. Thank you. Can you do an updated video on Shutter recommendations soon? Yeah, it's funny you say it. I'm planning on doing that like mid-September. Because the last Shutter video I didn't perform that great. Like it did okay, but I thought, I hear from a lot of people that they get Shudder just in Halloween season. Like they just get Shudder in September and October, or maybe even just October. So I thought, I bet a lot of people would like a video like that now. So I am planning on doing it probably mid-September-ish. That's what I'm thinking. Cameron Poe, Hubie Halloween is most incredible. Yes, it does. Hubie Halloween is fun. It is so. Yes, it's silly. People say it's stupid. It totally is. But that movie is like made to be like the ultimate Halloween movie because they do everything Halloween in that movie. They go to a corn maze. They go to a haunted house attraction. They go to a Halloween party. There's more too that I'm forgetting. I think they go to like some kind of seance type thing too. But yeah, it's got like it's like they sat down in the writer's room and were like, what is everything you could do on Halloween? And they just threw all of it in there. So the vibes are just 10 out of 10. And there are some funny jokes. Like there's a zillion jokes in that movie. Some of them don't land. Some of them really do. And they're pretty darn funny. Vanderhoff, I watched The Boogeyman 1980 last night at 4K. Oh, cool. I like that movie too. That movie's from the same director and the same team in general as the Devonsville Terror. And I watched them around the same time. And I thought it was interesting The Boogeyman got a 4K from Vinegar Syndrome and Devonsville Terror just got a Blu-ray because I thought the Devonsville Terror was a lot better, but I still like The Boogeyman. It's a fun, like supernatural slasher kind of thing. Has a lot of bad reviews out there, but I thought, as that kind of movie, I thought it was fun. I enjoyed it. It's a big hat. I'm not sure if you're responding to somebody else, but if you're talking about this, it is a big hat. It's an Odd Job hat, which is crazy since I bought a few Odd Job hats because I have an extra large head. I see Odd Job commercials on YouTube constantly. Like they have ramped up their marketing budget like $1 billion. It's crazy. Don't know if anyone has asked yet, but are you a fan of stop motion? Yeah. Yeah. I'd have to watch a bit more to be able to do a list. Like I haven't seen Mad God yet, though I've heard it's very good. I do like the movie Stop Motion, which is only partially a stop motion movie, but yes, I like Coraline. I think my favorite stop motion spooky movie is Corpse Bride. I love Corpse Bride. I think it's fantastic. I think it's better than Nightmare Before Christmas, though I do like Nightmare Before Christmas more for the vibes than the actual film itself. But Corpse Bride, I think, works all the way around. But then I like the stuff from Leica, like Kubo and the Two Strings. It's really good. Yeah, Paranorman is good. I regret that Paranorman's not on my best kids horror movies list. Honestly, it wasn't there just because I hadn't seen it in a long time. But I was rewatching it with my son recently. And I'm like, "Ah, this movie is really good. It should have been on there." But like I said in a different video recently, all of my lists, they're just a snapshot of my knowledge in that time, what I've seen recently enough to remember. And so there's always going to be some regrets, but that's kind of the way it goes. Ooh, cool. Sequel of WNUF is fun. That's great. That's awesome. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and bust into Vanderhoff's package. So I've not opened it, man, but I did start cutting into it right before filming. Yes, from Dave. So I'm going to try not to, let's see. All right, here we go. It's like packaged. Crazy. Where'd I put my knife? Ah, there it is. Very, very exciting television right here. There we go. I'm like so curious what the chat's saying right now. Okay, I think we're off to the races now. Oh boy. Let's see what's in here. Oh. Oh man. I think it's a gravestone. I think it's a cobwebs engraved gravestone. This is amazing. It says the Cobwebs channel. My name is Daniel and let's get started. Established 2022. This is unbelievable. Oh man, I got to scroll to the bottom of the chat and see what people are saying. Oh, I've missed so much. Let's see. Yep, people are saying, wow, cool. Yep, yep. Where'd I put my knife? Just what a slasher would ask. Oh boy. Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, this is amazing. I bet that could go probably like right back there. Um, Thank you, Dave. I appreciate this so much. Just incredible. Let me show it one more time. My name is Daniel, and let's get started. Had to do that. Okay, let's keep going. Oh, Mark said, at least there's no death date. Absolutely. Let's go ahead and dig into my Vinegar Syndrome package next. So this is just an order I placed for no real reason. There's no sale or anything. There is a sale actually kicking off tonight, and I didn't realize that until this afternoon. It's kicking off at 11 o'clock. And I was almost like, should I stay live until 11 o'clock and we could just look at it together? I was like, that'd be 3 hours before it even gets started. So I don't think I can do that. But yeah, they are starting a sale. But this is just a few things that they were selling that I wanted. All right. First of all, we have got... Oh, interesting. Okay. Playroom, which is one of their most recent announcements. And I'd never heard of this movie, but it looked so intriguing to me. Like, especially as I was scrolling through the pictures looked so cool. Like there were such crazy, like practical effects monster imagery. And the main actor is Christopher McDonald. So speaking of Adam Sandler movies, Shooter McGavin, and also from Dirty Work. Also, when I was a kid, I originally knew him as the bad guy in Flubber. He's just like the rich jerk bad guy in so many movies. That's what he does best. But I think he's the protagonist in this. But what caught my eye immediately when I took this out is the whole thing is in plastic, and that's new for Vinegar Syndrome. Usually, when you order straight from them, only like the Blu-ray itself is in plastic, not the slipcover. So that is different. That's interesting. But I'm going to go ahead and cut into this. And I want to see like reversible cover art and stuff. I looked in the plot a little bit. I think it's something about like reviving some kind of old god or prince, ancient prince or something like that. So there's something kind of occulty going on. So it sounded fun. And this movie's not on streaming at all, not for any price. So I was like, I just got to see this thing. I just want to see it right now. Okay, so there we got the slipcover out. Yeah, and now this is not wrapped in plastic. This is different. For any of you Vinegar Syndrome heads out there, big news. They do not plastic wrap the case anymore. They plastic wrap the whole thing. It's crazy. Yeah, the pictures on the back aren't super cool. You can kind of see a monster kind of thing right there. But yeah, when you go on the website, there's a lot of cool stuff. Curious what the other cover art looks like. Oh, there's Christopher McDonald right there. Half his face looks like some kind of monster. Yeah, I'm really excited to watch this. It looks really, really cool. Okay. Next up. I like Terry Tex movies. I love the way you decorate your background, pumpkins, and then a Douglas Sirk movie. Yeah, it's a very autumny cover and movie itself. All That Heaven Allows. All That Heaven Allows is one of the great autumn movies, but it is also a Christmas movie. So partially it takes place in the snow. So it's just got like a really great October, November, December arc to it. That's just great. This one is from the previous month, so it's not all wrapped in plastic. So this month apparently is when they changed it. But this is a double feature of Devil Doll and Curse of the Voodoo. These are two low-budget old black and white horror movies from the 60s that I was really interested in, particularly Devil Doll because it's a scary ventriloquist dummy movie, and I'm always down for that kind of thing. Also, I was intrigued by this one because apparently for the first time, this release has it uncut, and I think it's a little bit risque maybe for the 1960s, and there was some objectionable stuff they had to cut out. But this version's uncut, which I thought sounded pretty cool. I don't know if this one has an uncut version too, Curse of the Voodoo. What I've heard is this one's the marquee title. This is the one to go with. And then this one's like, okay. But, I'm down for a voodoo movie, so I'll check them both out. I'm really excited about it. There we go. And then another one I just had to pick up is their new cinematograph release of A New Leaf. This is a comedy from the 70s that I have been hearing about for years. I've heard so many people praise this, how great it is. It's written and directed and co-starred Elaine May. So it's a rare 70s movie. It's directed by a woman, but I've heard it's just like so fun and funny and just like a really feel-good movie. And I've always meant to see it, but it hasn't been on streaming. But then it got announced on 4K from Vinegar Syndrome. And I checked streaming. It is now on streaming. So I thought I could stream it, but I like the cinematograph line. I was like, I really want to watch this movie, so I'm just gonna get it. So I did. It's really thick, so they probably got a lot of writing in there. Yeah, this is one that'll have to wait till after spooky season though. So I totally plan to watch this in November, and I'll probably do some video in November just on some non-horror specific older movies like I often do, and I'll talk about it in that. Okay, so that is my Vinegar Syndrome order. All stuff I'm super excited to watch. All blind buys, which is my favorite thing to do with Vinegar Syndrome, honestly. I love to blind buy weird stuff. One last look at the spines, because that's just fun for collectors. All right, yeah, XL Tomato says New Leaf is great. Yeah, man, over the years, that movie has gotten so much hype, so I'm so excited to finally see it. If you like creepy dummies, check out the TV ad for Magic Absolutely Traumatic for many Gen Xers. I've heard that from a lot of people, that the television ads were crazy for that. Well, there you go. That is what Vinegar Syndrome had to restore, and good on them. Ever have trouble receiving movies in the mail during the summer because of the heat? No, I don't think so. I don't think I ever have. But I live in Missouri, so it gets hot, but like it's not like I'm real down south, so it doesn't get too crazy. Did you see the new Deathstalker trailer? Oh, I think I heard there is going to be a new Deathstalker. I'm afraid it's maybe a little too 2000s epic internet culture for my. That could totally be the case. I did not love Psycho Goreman. So if you're implying it's from the same filmmaker, I don't know. I've only seen the first two Deathstalker movies. I think the first one is like abysmal, and I think the second one's pretty darn great. I think the second one's really fun. Um, but yeah, I've not seen that trailer. I am kind of curious now. Have you seen Corruption 1968 with Peter Cushing? No, I don't think I have. What genre is it? Because that sounds like that could be a horror movie, could be a thriller, could be a noir. So I'm curious. Yo, we got Born to be Rad in here. Me and Garrett almost did a collab last night, which was going to be a pre-recorded video. It's going to go out. And we're still going to do it. But he ended up having to start it later, and I was really tired. I ended up passing out at 9:30 last night. I was so tired because my son got me up real early and kept me very active all day. So yeah, it was definitely the right choice for me to go to bed instead of do it. But we'll have to do it probably next week. I got to get back to you on that. Ooh, Jaws is at the local drive-in in Michigan for at least a week. That's awesome. I've seen Jaws theatrically, I think 4 times now, and it's kind of gotten to the point where I only watch Jaws in a theater or projected outside, which was one of those cases. Like I haven't watched Jaws at home in a really long time, and I kind of like it. It's like Jaws is the special thing I only see on the big screen. Most movies I can't do that with because most movies don't screen on the big screen, but Jaws goes on the big screen quite a bit, so it's something I can do with it. Paranormal clips on YouTube videos. No, I don't think I have. I've talked about this before, but I used to be incredibly skeptical and cynical about any kind of paranormal stuff. Like 100% skeptic. I didn't really believe in any of it. But I have loosened up on that quite a bit over the years to where like, I don't know that I believe in like ghosts and that kind of thing, but I'm like more open to it and I find it interesting. And now if somebody like tells me like a ghost story, like, oh, I experienced this or my friend experienced this, like I'm open to hear about it. But was before I'd be like, nah, that's not true. And I think it's a better way to be. Yeah, Psycho Gorman, my issue with that movie is like it's trying to be fun and funny and feel good, but it's also incredibly mean-spirited. And I just could not jive with the tone. I'm like, yeah, we're trying to be fun, but these horrible things happen to these people over here. I'm not really having fun with this. I don't know. And it's also like a hardcore winking at the camera kind of thing that could put me off a little bit. It's also really playing on nostalgia for like Power Rangers kind of thing. I wasn't like a big Power Rangers guy as a kid, so I'm probably not the target audience. Favorite Canadian horror movies? All those for sure. I would say, unless I'm forgetting something, and I don't think I am, my favorite Canadian horror movie would be the original My Bloody Valentine. Man, masterpiece. I love that movie so much. I really like Curtains. Curtains is an insane 80s slasher that is actually going to be talked about in a couple of videos from now. That's a nutty movie. I really like that. It's hard to think of like specifically Canadian movies. Kathy's Curse, not a favorite, but an insane movie that I do have a good time with. But yeah, all those ones you named are great. Ghost in the Machine from the 90s always got it confused with Shocker. Ghost in the Machine. Isn't that anime movie? Isn't that called Ghost in the Machine? I have seen that anime movie, if I'm remembering the title right. Okay, same director as Psycho Gourmet. Their endless passion for practical effects is what won me over with Gorman. Yeah, the practical effects on display is pretty darn cool, and that's fun. Oh, you saw Jaws on big screen tonight. That is a crazy coincidence because we were just talking about that. But, well, I guess it's not because it's like the anniversary and it's playing a lot of places. So that makes sense. That's great, man. That I contend Jaws is the best movie ever made. It's maybe not necessarily, it's like my second favorite movie ever made, but I think it is the best thing that a filmmaker's ever done. Have you seen the 1973 Peter Cushing, Christopher Lee horror films Nothing But the Night or The Creeping Flesh? Yes, on The Creeping Flesh. Didn't love it. Unfortunately, that's a, if I'm not mistaken, I believe that's a Trigun movie. So back in the 60s, 70s, I think this was really more the 70s. You had Hammer, and they were like the top dogs. They were amazing. You had Amicus, good, there in the middle. And then you had Trigun. And Trigun had some amazing stuff. Like they had Witchfinder General and Blood on Satan's Claw, which are awesome. Everything else Trigun I've watched so far, I have not loved. And Creeping Flesh being one of them. Another one being... what is that movie? Night of the Blood Monster, I think it's called. That one's also got Peter Cushing. I believe it's got Christopher Lee too in a smaller role, I think, but it's definitely starring Peter Cushing. Night of the Blood Beast. Pretty sure that's what it's called. Also not super great. Nothing But the Night, I don't think I've ever heard of. So thank you for shouting that one out. Your tombstone took so long, but I really enjoyed making it. I'll send you making up pictures on Instagram. There's probably 50 in your folder. Oh, wow. That's so cool. Thank you. Hello, hello. Hello from Nola. Let's see. Yeah, Jaws is just the best. Finally saw Jaws on the big screen about 6 summers back. It was amazing, but I still watch my DVD copy every summer. Right on, as you should. We have the next batch of horror films to look forward to at Halloween season. I'm so excited to hear about all of them. Yeah, like, we do have The Long Walk, like we talked about. I'm really excited for The Black Phone 2. And I liked The Black Phone. I didn't love it, but I do want to rewatch it. Because I actually saw it at a drive-in, and the sound was not great. But even though it looked really good, it was beautifully projected. The sound issue was dubious. But I do want to rewatch it. But The Black Phone 2, I like that they're leaning so hard into supernatural. Because I, in most cases, like I'd probably rather watch a supernatural movie than a movie about a child who gets abducted and thrown in a basement. Although the original Black Phone did have its supernatural stuff. It did. But the sequel looks so good. I'm super excited for it. That's going to be great. And then Del Toro's Frankenstein. And we talked on these live streams before about how like it's a Netflix movie. It's going to Netflix in November, but I was really hoping that it would come to theaters in late October. That is happening, but it is limited theaters. I don't know which theaters yet. I don't know if it's going to come near me. I have a couple of big cities, a couple hours from me. So I might take a little road trip to go see it in a theater because I'm just, Del Toro Frankenstein. It's going to be the best thing ever. So yeah, that's the one I'm most excited for. Yeah, Deathgasm is fun. That is a bonkers movie for sure. Wouldn't hospitals be haunted like crazy with the number of people that die in them? You'd think, and maybe they are. You don't hear about it a lot though, so I don't know. You know what I kind of lament? I was thinking about this the other day. I wish more towns and suburbs had like the old broken down abandoned house that like all the kids are scared to go to because everyone says it's haunted. I feel like that doesn't exist a lot anymore because stuff like that just gets torn down so fast because there are so many land developers who are just trying to develop every piece of land possible. So you don't get these broken down mansions lying around anymore. And I wish that was more of a thing. I think that's kind of a lost part of culture. Yes, it was. Black Christmas was in his original little list he gave. And that one of the top Canadian horror movies of all time. No question. Corruption is regarded as Cushing's most violent film. It's sometimes considered a loose remake of Eyes Without a Face. Oh, that's awesome. I love Eyes Without a Face. Thank you for shouting that out. I'm going to have to look that up. What's your favorite era of horror movies? I hate to say it because it's so basic, but I got to say, I think it is the 80s. Though I love pretty much all the decades. I think the 60s is super underrated. I feel like the 60s does not get near enough credit, and it's such a great decade for horror. But if we're just talking about like sheer volume, it is astounding how many great horror movies there were in the 80s. Like I did my list of my top 30 80s horror movies. It doesn't even have all my favorites. Like there are other movies that like I love that are not there because there's like if I did a list of top 50 80s horror movies, I'd still leave off some favorites probably. So in terms of sheer volume, it's got to be the 80s. But I got to say, we're in a really good time right now. That should not be overlooked. There's a lot of good stuff right now. Oh my gosh, I have seen The Pit. Okay, so I watched The Pit doing an all-night horror marathon with some friends down just down here in my basement a few years ago, and The Pit was like it. We put on The Pit like at our breaking point when we really needed to sleep. For the first half of it, me and my buddy Chris from Figure Out Films YouTube channel, we are just cracking up laughing at how insane and revolting just that movie is. Like it's so bananas. We're just cracking up. And then about halfway through, he fell asleep. So I'm just sitting here watching The Pit alone. That is not as good of an experience. And I was like miserable. And I'm sure the time just watching in the middle of the night doesn't help. But that's one of the craziest movies I've ever seen. And not necessarily in a good way. The Gourmet's tone is wildly all over the place. I think for us 80s kids, it was nearly impossible not to be charmed. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, the tone is just nuts. Do you ever visit theme parks during the Halloween season and experience the mazes and haunted houses? Yes, I wish I could do it way more. but I haven't been to any since my son was born. But yeah, my wife loves those things too. So we used to do that kind of thing a lot. We went to Halloween Horror Nights in Orlando. We went to Six Flags Fright Fest thing, although that was pretty terrible. I don't recommend Six Flags during the Halloween season. Although they did have a Headless Horseman out, so that was cool. I got my picture taken by the Headless Horseman. Best part. We have a really good haunted house thing here in my town that's got like a couple of haunted houses, and they got like zombie paintball over here, and they got a lot of stuff. And I used to love going to that every year. But we've not done any of it since kiddo was born. But now our kid, he will go to sleep for other people. Like he'll go to sleep for his grandparents or even some of our good friends who babysit him sometimes. So we could potentially do it this year. So I certainly hope so. But I love that kind of stuff. Because for me, like, I don't even care if I get scared in those things. Like I just like to walk around horror practical effects. And that is basically what those are. And I just love them. Have you seen any Terrence Fisher horror films outside of Hammer, like Island of Terror and Night of the Big Heat? Island of Terror, yes, I enjoy it. It's not as good as like his great Hammer stuff, but it's good. The other one that I would shout out is The Earth Dies Screaming, which is like a black and white, looks 50s, but is actually 60s sci-fi movie that's pretty good. Never seen Night of the Big Heat, so yeah, if that's good, I'll have to check that out because I love. Actually, I don't think I ever even promoted it. But I did add a new T-shirt to my T Public store that it's just a black shirt and it says directed by Terrence Fisher on it. Because I see those shirts a lot. They're like directed by John Carpenter, directed by Martin Scorsese, and I wanted a Terrence Fisher one, so I made one that's directed by Terrence Fisher. So you can get that in my T Public store now, and I'll have to get one for myself. Have you seen It Feeds? I've not. Never even heard of it. Interesting. We got Chase. 2 questions. 1, do you think of Castle Freak as an H.P. Lovecraft movie? Or 2, do you consider movies like Event Horizon to be cosmic horror? Castle Freak is technically a Lovecraft movie, but I've never read the story that it's supposedly based on. Gosh, what is that story called? Is it the one that's like Something on the Doorstep? That might be the one Suitable Flesh is based on. No, The Outsider. Pretty sure that is based on Lovecraft's The Outsider. But I've never read it, so I don't know for sure how close it is. And actually, because I wasn't so sure, I neglected to put Castle Freak on my top 10 Lovecraft movies list. When quality-wise, it would be, because Castle Freak is pretty great. Castle Freak is like one of the most disturbing movies I'd ever seen when I saw it. Like, I had never seen anything like that, and that movie was pretty messed up. I think it's really good. I believe Event Horizon is cosmic horror. I haven't seen Event Horizon in a long time. And I did get some heat for not putting it on my 90s horror list, but I saw it once years ago. I don't remember being a big fan of it, but I do want to rewatch it. So I do intend to rewatch it. I have it on Blu-ray. But from what I remember, I believe it is cosmic horror. Have you seen The Devil's Widow Tamlin with Ava Gardner and Ian McShane? No, I've not. But sounds like it would be good. Ghost in the Machine live action. I'm thinking of Ghost in the Shell. That is what I'm thinking of. That's the anime movie. That's actually very good. No, I've never seen Ghost in the Machine. That's a good title, though. Is The Changeling Canadian? I didn't know it was Canadian. If it is, it might be. But yeah, that would be on the list because I love the Changeling. You know, Canadian movies are usually not like immediately distinctively Canadian. So I'm sure there are a lot of Canadian movies I like that I just didn't necessarily know were Canadian. But then like My Bloody Valentine, I think it's like, I don't know, that movie feels very Canadian. Everyone talks about it as Canadian. So I certainly know that one's Canadian. Have you seen Primitive War? Oh, that's that new dinosaur movie. No, I also haven't seen Jurassic World Rebirth. So I'm not up on my dinosaur movies this year. But I recently listened to Sean Chandler's review of Primitive War, and he really liked it. So I was like, I'm going to check that out. My favorite Stephen King adaptation is Mary Lambert's Pet Sematary, 1989. Absolutely my favorite. I love that movie so much. It also it evokes the feeling of Stephen King the most to me, which is a totally subjective thing. Like The Shining. Oh, we got a super chat. I'll be over to that in just a second. Thank you so much. The Shining is a great movie, but it doesn't like feel like Stephen King to me, which makes sense because Kubrick did not care whatsoever what Stephen King thought about that movie, and Stephen King hated it. But Pet Sematary, like, it feels so King, and I love the book Pet Sematary so much too. Okay, Thank you so much, Hope Jordan, for a $10 super chat. I appreciate it. Have you seen Your It? It's streaming on Tubi and Fossum. It's about a movie crew who gets trapped in their filming location and are forced to play hide and seek with a serial killer. I've not seen it. It sounds good. Fossum Horror is, oh, I got to type over here like I told you guys because my keyboard's not working right now because I can't plug it in. Fossum Horror is a fascinating thing. Like it's something that I was not really that familiar with. And then like whenever I go into Roku, it just like appears Fossum Horror ads, and they're just like all these crazy looking horror movies that I have never ever heard a single person talk about. I was like, what are all these movies? What are all these Fossum Horror movies? I think one of these days I need to like binge a bunch of them and make a video about it. Okay, I found Your It. It's from 2025, so it's brand new. So I could watch it and put it on my like new 2025 horror movies ranking. So that's a reason to see it right there. Okay, I'm curious if IMDb is right. IMDb is telling me that this movie is 2 hours and 17 minutes long. I find that hard to believe. Could that be true? That'd be crazy. I want to see if I can find it on Letterboxd. I feel like, although I think Letterboxd just pulls IMDb information. Here it is on Letterboxd. It doesn't have a runtime on Letterboxd. Interesting. Well, thank you for shouting it out, especially since it's a new one. That gives me immediate reason to check it out, and I can put it on one of those rankings. Thank you, Hope. Awesome. We got another super chat from Shay Money. Thank you so much. I like your tattoos in your picture. Thank you for your super creative movie list. Love the recent dark fantasy one. I appreciate it. I really had fun with that one, so I'm glad you enjoyed it. Yeah, I love that dark fantasy kind of thing. Okay, let's see. All right, I'm going to skim through and look for some more questions. Oh, yeah, I'm excited for the Silent Night, Deadly Night remake. I feel like Rowan Campbell got a bad rap for Halloween Ends. I thought he was good as Corey. Yes, Isaac, we are in sync. I'm so excited about Silent Night, Deadly Night remakes because of him. Like, otherwise, if you just said we're remaking Silent Night, Deadly Night, I'd be like, okay, sure, I'll watch it. Yeah, that's fine. But like Rowan Campbell's dream casting to play Billy, that is so perfect. I'm a big fan of him from Halloween Ends. I like Halloween Ends. Is it a flawed movie? Absolutely. It is absolutely flawed. It's kind of a mess. It's clearly the product of David Gordon Green's vision, which is an insane idea, and the studio's vision of wanting something more typical. And it's just kind of this Frankenstein monster of the two of them put together. But the David Gordon Green stuff specifically, I think actually works really well. And I thought it was such a breath of fresh air after Halloween Kills. It was something so different, like the franchise had never done before. And I thought Rowan Campbell was great in it. So I'm really excited to see him as Billy. Let's see. Yeah, the Tyrant King of Flowers, Ghost in the Shell is the animated film. Yeah. I have seen Perfect Blue as well. Also good. I think I like Ghost in the Shell more. I used to watch a fair amount of, not a lot. Like I was never like an anime guy, but I did watch them a lot, and I really like the Studio Ghibli stuff. But I haven't watched anything anime in years and years. I have seen Children Shouldn't Play with Dead Things. This is one of the movies I get asked about the most. I feel like in every live stream I end up talking about it. I saw it once, was not a big fan of it. I'm willing to give it a second chance though. So one of these days. My latest blind buy was The Seventh Curse. Yes, super fun. Absolutely. I also have that from Vinegar Syndrome, which is a double feature and comes with The Witch of Nepal, which I've not watched yet. But I love witch movies, as you guys know, so I'll have to check it out. No, I've always meant to see this. Yeah, John Carpenter is involved. He had some of the writing, at least, and I haven't seen it yet. I can't remember who directed that movie. I wonder if it was... I don't remember for sure. I'm so ready for a new autumnal list. Yes, coming on Sunday. I've already watched all your recs and had to buy Something Wicked This Way Comes VHS. Good. Yeah, that movie is beautiful for the fall season. Just beautiful. Watch it. Oh, wow. Candy Sweet and the Devil. Thank you so much for watching from the beginning. That is amazing. Let's see. Okay. Just watched My Mother's a Werewolf. I've always been curious about this movie. I'm so glad you mentioned it. Yeah, that's one of those movies that like, it's crazy that it's a movie that exists and no one ever talks about it. Like My Mother's a Werewolf. That sounds awesome, but I've never gotten around to it. Thank you for shouting it out. Yeah, I really need to do an updated best of werewolf movies list because I did my best of werewolf movies 2 years ago. It is super outdated by now. Like I don't stand by it anymore because there's a lot of werewolf movies I've seen since then, and I still get comments on it about like you left off this, and I'm just like, you. I got to redo it. I really need a new one. But I'll have to check out My Mother's Werewolf before I make that video. Yeah. Yeah, there is a new Dracula. It's directed by I always forget names every time I go live, but the guy that did like Leon the Professional, right? That guy and The Fifth Element. Luc Besson. Isn't it directed by Luc Besson? But yeah, it's starring that guy. I can't remember his name either, playing Dracula. I was real skeptical about that, especially those two guys. And like him as Dracula does not sound good. But I looked at the trailer and the trailer's pretty cool. Like it kind of won me over. And I was like, yeah. Because even like when I first heard Gary Oldman as Dracula, I didn't think that fit. That didn't make sense to me. And then I saw the movie and he was like an amazing Dracula. So I'm absolutely willing to give this guy a chance too. It looks interesting. I can't believe we're getting a new Dracula and Frankenstein movie this year. We're eating good. And then I think next year, I think it is, we'll get Robert Eggers' werewolf movie, which is going to be, man, it's going to be awesome. Let's see. Yeah, for favorite horror movie year, 70s and 80s, a toss up. Yeah, 70s is awesome as well. Let's see. My favorite Mike Flanagan Netflix series is The Haunting of Hill House. But I love Midnight Mass. Midnight Mass is amazing. And Midnight Mass was especially special because I watched it with my wife and we didn't watch Haunting of Hill House together. That was, I think, before I knew her. But yeah, Midnight Mass is so awesome. I've still yet to see, though, Fall of the House of Usher. I watched the first episode. It didn't immediately grab me. And that came out while I was doing this channel. And it's just so hard to watch shows while doing this channel. Let's see. I'm not sure if that's to me or to somebody named Terry. But if it's to me, thank you. Or if it's to Terry, then good for Terry. Let's see. A horror film channel I think you would like is Dark Corners. Oh, absolutely. Yeah, Dark Corners is an OG. Like they've been talking Hammer movies way before me. So got to give respect to Dark Corners. Most overrated slasher movie. In general, I don't care for the term overrated because I kind of think it suggests other people shouldn't like a movie. And I don't necessarily want to say that, but I totally get what you mean. So we'll go with it. Oh gosh, I have one that would really upset people. And it's still a movie that I think is great. I don't know if I want to say that. I don't know if I want to say that either. I will say, okay, I will say this one because I think I have a good argument for it. Nightmare on Elm Street 3, Dream Warriors. I love it. Great movie. Reason being is a lot of people put it over the first one, and I think that is madness. I think it is madness to put Nightmare on Elm Street 3 over the first one. To me, when it comes to the Nightmare on Elm Street franchise, like the first one is head and shoulders over everything. Like it is king. It is incredible. And then there's a bunch of really fun sequels too. And Nightmare on Elm Street 3, really fun sequel that I really enjoy watching, but it doesn't even touch the original. So I think that would be my pick. I almost want to say the Friday the 13th remake, but I want to rewatch it because I haven't seen it in years. First time I watched it, I hated it, and it's gotten such an appraisal. People love it. So I want to give it a second chance. Yep, that's what I'm going to go with. That's a good question, actually. That was fun to think about. I want to scroll to the bottom and see if anybody's has anything to say about the Nightmare on Elm Street. I don't think anybody does. Nobody cares. That's cool. Let's see. Beth Morton, I do a monthly werewolf screening on full moons and another red vid on those would be perfect. We just finished all the Halloween movies. Very excited to not do that anymore. I do need to watch the Halloween sequels because I've only seen the first two. And like, I hear they're bad, but there's one in particular that, a lot of people praise. Is it like the fourth? There's a period piece one that I hear about, and I'm always down to watch a period piece horror movie. Let's see. Robert Englund says Dreamers was his favorite of the series. I don't doubt that because he gets a lot more to do in that movie. He's not in the first movie that much, but that's why I think he's way scarier in the first one. And like, he has more impact. But as an actor, I completely understand he would prefer the one where he gets to do a lot more. That makes sense. I'm not sure if I agree. I might actually put Dream Warriors over New Nightmare. But I do really like New Nightmare a lot too. But I'm with you on Nightmare on Elm Street 1 being at the top, obviously. I love Nightmare on Elm Street 4. I actually like Nightmare on Elm Street 4 more than Dream Warriors. I think that's my favorite of the sequels. It doesn't even touch the first one, but it is a super fun movie. Let's see. Oh, yeah. Halloween 3 is awesome. For sure. Krueger is too goofy. I think it's a pretty good balance, but yeah, he was never as great as he is in the first one. Or the second one, pretty scary in the second one, actually. Even though I do think the second one's a big drop in quality of a movie, but he is really, really good in the second one. Yes, there is going to be a new zombie list coming soon. So if you guys, I don't know if you guys have noticed the pattern, but I've started doing like a top 20 of a subgenre list every month, once a month. And September's is going to be top 20 zombie movies. So that's going to be fun. I'm excited. Oh yeah, for sure. For totally understandable reasons. And my buddy Chris, it's his favorite Nightmare on Elm Street movie. Like he just goes crazy for it. And I think I heard Christian from Planet CHH say it's his favorite Nightmare on Elm Street movie too. So it's had like big resurgence over the past 10-ish years. Oh, crazy. Somebody asked me that you asked this, Lily. Have you ever seen My Soul to Take? Yes, I have. I actually just recently put it on my list of my top 20 high school horror movies. I really like it. It has a horrible reputation, terrible reviews. A lot of people think it's awful, but I really dig it because it actually has an interesting story. It's not just directed by Wes Craven, it's written by him. And it was a rare one in his late period of his career that was written by him. It's the second to last movie. Only Scream 4 was after it. But the story's interesting. The kills are savage. Like they're really gnarly. And I just think the dialogue is so weird that it's really entertaining. Someone could watch and be like, this dialogue is ridiculous. And I would say like, yeah, but I think that's the point. Like it's a really hyper stylized kind of movie. And I like that kind of thing. So I'm a big fan of My Soul to Take. Yeah, I will. I don't know if I'll buy it day one. I might wait until it goes on sale because I'm a lot more frugal with my Blu-ray purchases these days than I used to be now that I'm full-time on the channel. But yeah, I will because I want to see like that 3D version and stuff. I just want to support Paul Naschy on physical media, even though it's not one of my favorite Naschy movies. But anyway, have you ever done top 10 horror movies that make you cry? I've not. I'm such a softie. I probably could do that. First one that comes to my mind is Dr. Sleep. That's the first one I think of. Train to Busan is another one. That'd be an interesting list. I already get people commenting that I'm like a pansy or something, so I would get that even more, which is fine. I don't care about that at all. Let's see. Curse of the Queer Wolf. I don't think I've ever heard of that. Interesting. Have I? I can't remember. Underseen, underrated horror directors. I've never done a director's list. Thank you for reminding me. I always mean to do like top 20 horror directors, and I've still never done that. I do want to do it. So that's what I would do first, at least. Yes, absolutely. I love the Monster Club. I have a whole deep dive review of the Monster Club here on the channel, and I just filmed a video today where I'm talking about the Monster Club. So yeah, lots of Monster Club talk. Oh yeah, I just read that one. A few years ago, I attended a live viewing Rocky Horror Picture Show. I've never gone to one. I'm so glad those things exist and people enjoy them. I think it would be like my nightmare. Like I don't want to be in there. I don't know. I don't want to go to a participation screening where people yell and throw things and stuff. I think I'm too, I don't know. I don't think I'm that kind of guy. But I also don't like Rocky Horror Picture Show. I've seen it once. Was not a fan, but I've never had like that big experience and everything. But I think that sounds like a kind of thing that's really cool and fun for other people. I don't think it would be my thing. That is a controversial because I thought that movie was really bad, but that's cool because I respect people liking bad movies 100%. I honestly prefer Nightmare on Elm Street 2. Oh, that's interesting. So you should watch it again through that lens, and I think you'll definitely see the pattern parallels. As a fan of classical horror and some newer stuff, what's your opinion on Terrifier entries? I do really like the Terrifier movies, actually. They feel like something new and exciting in like the horror world, which I totally respect. The first one I didn't like when I first saw it. But then I saw two, and I love two, and to this day, two is my favorite. I think it's a great movie. And then I went back and rewatched one, and kind of through the lens of having seen two, I liked one a lot better. And then I saw three, and I really liked three a lot. So yeah, I really like the movies. I think Art the Clown is a really dynamic character. I think now the main final girl, I want to say Sydney. Her name is not Sydney. That's Scream. I'm telling you, as soon as I go live, I forget all names. But the new final girl is a great character too, and the gore is just like fun. Like it's fun to go to a horror movie these days. Like for me, and be like a little nervous and be like, oh man, what am I gonna see in this? And I respect that those movies give me that feeling. Let's see. What about top 10 horror movies that actually scare horror movie fans? I do need to do that one of these days because that's one of the more popular kind of videos that people in my kind of niche can do. So I really should get around to it. The problem is I'd be talking about a lot of movies that I've talked about a lot before, but that's okay. Only a few people will complain about that. Let's see. Oh, we got Eli in the house. Thank you so much for dropping in, man. I appreciate you. And thank you for that. Slash that like button. Ashley's with me. Yeah. I've seen the Rock Your Life thing in like Perks of Being a Wallflower, and like that's good enough for me. I've done that. Yeah. I did that last October, so you can watch that on channel right now. But my regret is Paranorman is not on there, as I was talking about earlier, and it should have been. I just hadn't seen it in a long time. Let's see. Yes, I have seen Phantom of the Paradise. Yeah, I really like it. In story, it's very close to specifically the Hammer Phantom of the Opera, actually. Really crazy, stylized. I really like that Jessica Harper is in it because she's from Suspiria, and I think she's real good in both movies, actually. Yeah, it's a fun movie. It's not one of my all-time favorites, but I like it. Let's see. It'd be cool to do a list of best directors, but have more than one and have separate lists for different countries. That would be tough to like for all, depending on what countries, I guess. Ooh, scariest movies from the 1960s childhood, The Nanny with Betty Davis. That's one of the only Hammer horror films I have not seen. I need to see it. For a long time, it was kind of unavailable, but I found it online now. So I think I could see it now, but I still haven't seen it, so I need to get to it. Yeah, The End of the Mist is diabolical. Like that movie's just so rough. I don't even think that wasn't even a cry for me. That's just like a I need to go throw up kind of an ending. Oh, it's just horrible. But I give it so much respect. I like they did it, man. They went for it. Let's see. Any specific books? Ooh, books high on your radar for the spooky seasons. Sorry to ask about books, but I think it's cool you read books, not only watch movies. Yeah, and real quick shout out. My wife is the most hardcore reader I know. She's an amazing reader, and she has an Instagram now called Steph's Books, STFS Books. So you can follow her on Instagram. She's like kind of really diving into that right now, building up her following. Yeah, I would love to read more books, but it's just hard to find the time with watching enough movies to keep up with the channel. But I am reading right now Grady Hendrix' new book, who's the guy that did My Best Friend's Exorcism, which I loved that book. And his new book is called Witchcraft for Wayward Girls. So of course I'm reading a book about witchcraft. That just tracks for me, I know. And it is excellent. It's really good. Like if he keeps up like this, it might be his best book, at least that I've read so far. I'm about halfway through and I'm just absolutely loving it. I don't know what I'm going to read next. Yeah, I have so little time for books. It's not like I have a big TBR because that would just be stressful. It'd just be impossible. So I just kind of pick them when it's time for a new book. The last book that I read was Slewfoot by Brom, who I believe is like a painter who now writes books. And that was a 5 out of 5 book. That was mind-blowingly good. Oh, look, it's right there. I just realized, yeah, it's in my background, Slewfoot. Awesome. Yeah, so those are the two that I'll shout out right now. If you have any recommendations, let me know. Oh, yeah, Theater of Blood is awesome. It's super fun. Any good 80s Gothic horror movies you're aware of? I can't think of it at the top of my head. Yeah, I was kind of looking into that recently because as much as I love the 80s and it was a lower decade for Gothic horror, I think because it Like the 60s and the 70s just kind of ran the genre into the ground where like there was just so much of it. I think by the 80s it wasn't cool anymore and now it's time to do new things. But then in the 90s it got cool again, which is great. But yeah, there's not a lot. I do have one behind me called The Doctor and the Devils, which is like a Burke and Hare kind of thing. And I believe it's starring Timothy Dalton. And I've not watched it yet, so I need to watch it. So it's right back there. So that's one that I can think of. But yeah, there's not a lot. There's I believe in the 80s there was The Bride, which is like sort of like it was made to be like a sequel to Bride of Frankenstein, and it's got Sting as Dr. Frankenstein. Not an amazing movie, but a good movie. I believe that was the 80s. But there's not a lot. Yeah. In 1979, you had Frank Langella's Dracula. Barely not the 80s. But that's a great movie. Let's see. Yeah, it's not for me. I totally respect. Other people love it. That is not a movie for me. Yeah, Cinemassacre are also OGs of talking about like old horror movies on YouTube, like along with Dark Corners. Yeah, I want to do space horror for sure. Underwater horror, yeah, I could do that. Movies like Deep Space, Deep Star Six, Leviathan, Underwater. Kanan from Ghost Pirate Entertainment did a list like that a few months ago that was cool. But space horror, I definitely want to do. So one of these days. What are your thoughts on David Lynch? Always placed him as at least horror adjacent, definitely a crossover. Yeah. Funny thing about David Lynch is like I don't think he's ever made a movie that I would put in the horror genre. And yet he's made some of the scariest stuff ever. Well, Eraserhead, I probably would. That'd probably be the one. But like, truly, there is one shot in Lost Highway that is one of the scariest images I've ever seen. Like, I think it would, like, if I made a top 10 list of the scariest things I've ever seen in a movie, there is a moment in Lost Highway that would be there. Even though, like, overall, Lost Highway is not really a horror movie. It's like a thriller, I would say more so. And of course, Mulholland Drive is the garbage moment that everybody talks about. It's pretty scary. Not as scary as Lost Highway, but pretty scary. But I overall, I really like David Lynch. I've not seen all his movies. So I do need to like complete that filmography, but I like him. Based on a scene from you, I trust your judgment. Check out Terrifier series. Cool. Yeah, I always try to like not just say this movie's great, watch it, but I like to give you guys like a picture of what the movie is like so that you have an idea if it's for you. So the Terrifier movies, like they are super over the top. And the gore is really extreme. But for me, the gore is not extreme in a realistic way. So it doesn't feel like it doesn't bother me. Like I can be bothered by a gore that's like it really just if it feels so real. And Terrifier does it. Like it feels fun. Because I just think like Damien Leone is just that kind of like 80s style filmmaker. And I do think the characters in Terrifier 2 and 3 are actually quite good. Characters in 1, not so much, but that's not really the point of 1. I like it. I think 2 is actually a really good movie. And that's one I would really stand by as like a very good film. Not kind of anything Universal Monster. What are your favorite Boris Karloff and Bela Lugosi movies? Ooh, tough. Karloff. I'm blanking on the name. What is that? What is the movie? It's like one of his last movies. It starts with an S, and it's got a sharpshooter as the villain who like does mass shootings basically. Um, what is that movie called? I'm gonna scroll to the bottom of the chat. Somebody is gonna shout it out. It's Peter Bogdanovich, I believe, who directed it. It's not seconds. I keep wanting to say targets. That's it. Targets. Targets would be up there for Karloff. And the Grinch, how the Grinch stole Christmas for Karloff. I feel like I'm forgetting something. Well, I don't think the Val Lewton movie, the Val Lewton movies are not Universal. I think they're Warner Brothers or Paramount. So The Body Snatcher and Bedlam. I really like Bedlam. I saw that for the first time this year. So those would be up there. Lugosi is tough. I'm struggling to think of a lot of Lugosi movies that aren't Universal. You got the Ed Wood stuff. I'm not really that big of an Ed Wood guy other than the Tim Burton movie. I mean, The Body Snatcher has him, and that's not Universal. But yeah, he didn't do as much. He didn't get as much work as Karloff did, sadly. Yeah, I got a bunch of people shouting out targets. Yeah, totally slipped my mind. Ooh, yeah, Wait Until Dark is amazing. I saw that for the first time this year too, and I would agree it's more of a thriller, but it is awesome, awesome. Ooh, yeah, Island of Lost Souls, good call. That'd be a good Lugosi pick because that is, I think that's a Paramount movie. Yeah, White Zombie. I could not remember who made that one, so I didn't know. I couldn't remember that wasn't Universal. But yeah, that's a really good one. Oh yeah, Rue Morgue I believe is Universal. I'm pretty darn sure. I am not. I'm not really a fan of any of those things that like you watch a movie but you listen to comedians make jokes during it. It's just not my thing. Because like if I like a movie, then I just like it, and I don't really want to listen to people make fun of it while I watch it. But I get comments about those all the time. People like I talk about a movie and they're like, "Hey, there's a riff tracks version of that. Oh, you got to watch the riff tracks." And I'm just like, no, no shame if that's your thing, but it's just so not my thing. Let's see. I've not seen Fire in the Sky. That's one that I've always been meaning to see, so I do need to watch it. Ooh, hello, Dulce Green. Oh, first time in the live chat. Cool, cool. Trying to stay up for the Vinegar Syndrome sale. Awesome. I'm curious how that sale's going to go. I feel like their sales have not been very good for the past couple of years, so I don't have a lot of faith in it, but we'll see. Yes. I think the 1973 Frankenstein the True Story is amazing. And it might be my favorite horror TV movie. And I know that's big words because Salem's Lot is in there. And Salem's Lot is great. I really like the Tim Curry It. But man, when I first saw Frankenstein the True Story, it's like 3 hours long. And I put it on pretty late, not intending to finish it. I was like, I'll watch part of this and I'll finish it tomorrow. And I stayed up super late for it because it was so gripping. I think it's amazing. Yeah, high recommendation for that. Oh, let's see. Oh yeah, I've not seen Stephen King's Rose Red. You know what sucks is like I want to watch Rose Red, and I'm doing a list fairly soon on like haunted house movies. And even though it's not a movie, it's a miniseries. I'd like to watch it for that, but it's 4 hours, and it's just hard when I'm always it's hard when you do this channel and like I don't technically have deadlines, but I act like I have deadlines. Like I always put out a video on Sunday, and I always put out a video midweek, usually Wednesday, but sometimes Tuesday. So I got to watch like certain amount of movies by certain dates, and it should be so hard to watch a 4 hour thing just for one movie placement. And that's just the kind of things I got to think about when I do this. But I do want to watch Rose Red because the the like images I've seen from it look so cool, and I've had so many people recommend it to me. I don't know. Maybe I'll find a way to squeeze it in. Yeah, I can do that. Let's see. She might even be watching, and she could put her link in there. She usually watches my streams. Let's see. There we go. That is my wife's Instagram, Steph's Books. Let's see. Speaking of people talk over movies, how about Elvira? Well, Elvira, from what I have seen, she doesn't really seem to do that. I like the people like Elvira who like cut into the movie. And you know, they're like there at the commercial breaks, like her and Joe Bob Briggs and Sven Gulli. I like that stuff. I think that's fun. I just don't want people talking over it, which from what I've seen from Elvira, at least, which is not a lot because I'm not really that generation to watch it in its original run. I haven't seen that. So, oh, and there she is. There is my lovely wife holding our little kiddo. Okay, let's see. Watch Twins of Evil based on a recommendation. Obviously a great movie. Yes, that movie is awesome. It is so fun. Usually when people ask me for Hammer recommendations, I'm like, if you want to see Hammer at their best, where it started it all, watch Curse of Frankenstein, Horror of Dracula. But if you just want to watch a crazy, sleazy, fun movie, watch Twins of Evil. So I think that's actually a really good starting point for people that aren't as used to the old classic stuff because it's just so fun. Let's see. See, I love Rose Red. It's so fun. You never have to watch it all in one sitting. Sometimes I like put it on the background while I clean. Yeah, yeah, Kevin, you can squeeze three regular horror movies the time it takes to watch Rose Red. That's the problem. That's tough. Where I'm like, because I'm always thinking like, got to watch these movies by this date so I can film this, so I have time to edit it, so I can put it out by this date. And I'm like, Rose Red is so long. I guess maybe if I put out a list and it was only like 6 movies or 7 movies, I guess it's a little arbitrary that I act like it has to be 10, but it's just kind of the format I've settled into. Um, I don't know. This is how the sausage is made. I really want to do that. Yeah, Carnival Amusement Park horror movies. I recently watched The Circus. No, not The Circus. Circus of Horrors, which is from 1960, which would kind of fit under that. I think Circus could fit in that category. And that was a fun one. That was cool. Oh, we got Slime and Slashers, followed Steph's books. Susan says hi. Love to see it. The 5 longest horror movies. Well, that's the problem is it's not a movie. It's a miniseries. And then Mike Flanagan stuff is way longer than Rose Red. So those would all beat it. Made for TV Stephen King. See, that would take a really long time to do all of that research. Because then we're talking about a whole bunch of 4-hour things. Because the only ones I could talk about without rewatching is like Salem's Lot, maybe It, but I'd probably want to rewatch It. That'd be tough. Oh man, the song. Yeah. I don't know. I like 60s music, so I kind of like the song. I was good with it. My favorite Hammer film, Legend of Seven Golden Vampires. Fun movie. Far from my favorite. Not even close, but it is a fun movie. I like it. Oh, thanks, Lost Boy. I think 108 likes is pretty darn cool. But yeah, if anybody else wants to hit the like button, that'd be cool. Thank you. I do want to top 100 Dollar Babies, Stephen King adaptation. I don't know what Dollar Babies means, so I'm curious. I do one of these days want to do a really big Stephen King ranking, top 30 or something like that. Rank almost all of them. That would be fun. Yeah, I like Svengoolie a lot. Like I said, I like those horror hosts that cut in on the commercial breaks. I think Joe Bob Briggs does an amazing job. I just don't like people to talk over it. I want to actually watch the movie. Love that movie. Yeah, Dr. Jekyll and Sister Hyde. Oh, let's see. Oh, Storm of the Century. Yeah, that's one that traumatized me when I was a kid. I've never rewatched it as an adult, but when I was a kid, that thing was so scary. Yes, big fan of Paranoiac. Oliver, I love a good, hyper intense, over the top Oliver Reed performance, and Paranoiac has got it. I actually think Paranoiac it's close to my favorite Hammer thriller. Really, really like it. Because I wouldn't quite put it in the horror category. I'd put it in thriller. But it's a really, really good one. Love that movie. Yeah, great. Let's see. Nothing But the Night is a modern witchcraft movie. I think it's produced by Lee, like The Wicker Man. What? How have I never come across it? I'm always researching for more witch movies. I'm looking it up. Oh, wait, no. That keyboard does not work. That's the theme of this. Let's see. Nothing But the Night. 1973. Nice. I'm totally going to watch this. Thank you for bringing this up. That's awesome. Yes. Love Mandy. Huge Cage fan. Nicolas Cage is my favorite living actor. I think my 3 favorite actors are Jimmy Stewart, Peter Cushing, and Nicolas Cage. And he's the only one that's still alive. Huge fan of him. Oh, I might rewatch my Coffin Joe box set for Halloween this year. Weird movies, indeed. Yeah, I got there it is. Coffin Joe box set right there. Living Dead at Manchester Morgue. Oh, yeah. It took me a long time to catch up with it, and I loved it too. Hard to top Trick or Treat, but Tales of Halloween is a great anthology. Yeah, totally. I'm a big fan of Tales of Halloween. I think it's so much fun. Let's see. Oh. Stephen King lets aspiring filmmakers adapt his short stories for the fee of $1 if he retains the rights. The films are called Dollar Babies. I've never heard of that. That's really cool. I wonder if The Long Walk is that. Because I think it's a short story, but I'm not sure. Let's see. House of the Witch. I'm not sure I know that one. I came across a weird looking witch movie recently, and I almost think that was the title. Yeah. Yeah, it is. I recently came across this movie and I was curious about it. So thank you for recommending it. What movie brought you the closest to an existential crisis? Not because it's so bad you want to leave your body, but certain themes are seen left you perplexed with a lot to think about. It's almost embarrassing to say, but I had a kind of experience with that. It was back when I think I was 19. I was recently graduated from high school, and I went to see the Baz Luhrmann Great Gatsby with Leonardo DiCaprio. And it like really hit me. And I remember I took a long walk after I watched that movie and just thought about life. And it's funny is I don't remember why. I don't really remember what about it like really affected me. And I don't remember like if I came to any kind of realizations. Cause like right after high school, I was pretty directionless and I didn't go to college for a couple of years because I just had no idea what I wanted to do with my life. Um, so I was a little lost and I guess looking for some kind of direction. And for some reason, the Baz Luhrmann Great Gatsby like hit me like a ton of bricks. And I don't really remember why. And I've never rewatched it again. But I guess that would be my weird answer. Oh geez. Another one that I watched around that time was Blue Valentine with Ryan Gosling and Michelle Williams. And it's just a movie about the falling apart of a marriage. And it was like the saddest thing I'd ever seen in my life. And that was a big cry movie for me, which is funny because I was years away from even being married. But I find it incredibly sad. Ooh, yes, Wild at Heart. Good movie. Also, yeah, like it feels like David Lynch is like, I want to make Nicolas Cage and Laura Dern the sexiest people in the world. So like that's the goal of the movie. Like that's exactly what he was going for. And it kind of works. I love the scene so much when like it's towards the beginning of the movie and Cage and Dern are like dancing in a club and some guy hits on Laura Dern and Nicolas Cage punches him out and then sings the entirety of a love song, of an Elvis song to her. It's not Love Me Tender because I think he sings that to her at the end of the movie. I can't remember which Elvis song it is, but he sings the whole thing. And I'm like, this is cinema. Like, this is why cinema was made for this. It's a great movie. Oh, let's see. Long Walk's written by Richard Bachman. Okay, Stephen King's pseudonym. He took the book off the market to remove the story. Oh, interesting. Oh, okay. Fascinating. Let's see. Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, he made a whole movie called Australia, which I've never seen. I was a big fan of his Elvis movie. Speaking of Elvis, I thought that movie was pretty awesome. And when I was in high school, I loved Moulin Rouge, but I've never rewatched it, never seen it again. But back in high school, I was a big fan of it. What Halloween movies are you planning to show your son this year? I'm not sure, because so far, I mean, he's 2. His attention span for most movies is not very good, especially at this point. At this point, he mostly likes watching. Like my dad edits together home movies of like him and stuff, and he likes watching those the most. He likes watching himself. He's very self-absorbed. But he'll like watch some Pixar stuff. Like he really likes Cars. But I'm not sure what I could get him to sit through. But last year we did watch Casper, and that was pretty successful. So that was nice. Thank you. Yeah, I appreciate it. And I never would have guessed. I did have a YouTube channel back then, but it was terrible, and I had no idea what I was doing. But I never would have guessed this would happen. Even like a few years ago, I never would have guessed. Let's see. Just recently found your account. Use stuff from it to help make a poll for all my friends to vote on what movies we watch for Halloween. Cool. I love to hear that. That's awesome. Let's see. Have you seen the new Nick Cage movie? It's like a Jesus or something. No, I haven't heard about it, but I'm very intrigued. Nicolas Cage, he's constantly putting out new movies. So there's like always a new Nick Cage movie to watch. I'm going to have to look into that. That is fascinating. Let's see. 2-year-old might get a kick out of Chainsaw Massacre. I do love in the Child's Play remake, speaking of Mark Hamill, The Long Walk, when all the kids are watching Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2. And when I saw that, I'm like, they're specifically watching 2? I was like, this movie has my heart. This movie gets it. That's awesome. Oh, let's see. You're taking on Annihilation. Awesome movie. I love Annihilation. Yeah, that movie like really impacted me when I saw it in theaters. I need to figure out some kind of list to put that on. Oh, let's see. Dear Dracula is a really cute Halloween movie for kids. I've not heard of that, so I'm gonna have to look into it. Yes, snakeskin jacket, a symbol of his individuality and personal freedom. That's awesome. Oh boy. Ooh. Enjoying Mutant on Tubi yesterday after hearing you talk about it. That's great. Yeah, that movie was that was a special find. I was like, where's this movie been all my life? This is so for me. I'm really glad you enjoyed it. Oh, Captain Kronos. It is Hammer actually, and yeah, I actually have a deep dive review of it on the channel you can watch. I didn't used to be as big a fan of it, but I do. I like it now. I like it a lot better than I used to. Rock and roll horror would be awesome too. Yeah, I do want to do that. I think number one would probably have to be Trick or Treat, but yeah, I would like to do that one of these days. Absolutely, Halloween Tree is great. Kind of creepy too, in a good way. Yeah, I like when good ghouls go bad. I watched that for the first time just a few years ago because I always remembered seeing the DVD or VHS on the video store shelf when I was a kid, and I just never rented it. But I was always so curious about it, and so I finally got a chance to see it a few years ago, and I did enjoy it. It's fun. Never seen the original Under Wraps though. Let's see. I'll look around for any other questions I missed. I mean, I'm sure I have missed quite a few. Ooh, just watch Clown in a Cornfield. Was pleasantly surprised actually. Do you enjoy Goosebumps from back in the day? Yeah, Clown in a Cornfield is fun. Man, Goosebumps was like my personality when I was a little kid. I loved Goosebumps so much. So yeah, I read all the books. I loved the show. Haunted Mask is my favorite, both book and episode of the show. Um, I loved the Haunted Mask episode of the show so much, but it also really scared me. But I also rewatched it a lot, which was always really fun. So yeah, big Goosebumps guy. Let's see. Oh, I've seen Mr. Boogedy. Absolutely. Not a big fan of it, but it's okay. I didn't see it as a kid though. Oh, let's see. Oh, dude, yes, Color Out of Space with Nick Cage. I love Color Out of Space. I did a Lovecraft list, and I believe it was my number two. That movie just like captures the feeling of Lovecraft better than almost anything else. I love that film so much. Oh, let's see. Yeah, I agree. I like Jessica Harper. United States government. Thank you so much. Let's see. Watch a really gory horror movie with the latest playlist spaghetti and what? What? You watched a gory horror movie and ate spaghetti? That's wild. Well, actually, in about a week, I'm gonna post a video that will have a movie for you that you should watch with spaghetti. Actually, yeah. He's actually written a second one as well that I've not read, but Slewfoot is unbelievable. Like it is an incredible book. I cannot say enough good things about it. Yeah, I loved Grady Hendrix for Best Friend's Exorcism. Um, and then I read the Southern Book Club's Guide to Slaying Vampires, and I liked it, but not as much. For me, that book was really long and it was so repetitive on like why doesn't anyone believe me? Like always she's always saying like this neighbor is doing horrible, insane, disgusting things and like no one ever believes her and throws her under the bus at every turn. It happens over and over and it's like really frustrating. By the end of it, it was satisfying enough. So like it's a good book. But this new one, man, it's really, really good. Ooh, yeah, Autumn Crow by Cameron Chaney. I have read that actually. I've been following Cameron Chaney for a long time, and I did buy his book, and I've got it on the shelf just right over there. And I enjoyed it. It was fun. I hope he writes another Autumn Crow book. I don't think he has yet, but I would like to read it. Okay, I kind of scrolled up for a bit, so I'm going to scroll down and see what's going on. Yes, Bone Tomahawk, very good movie, and I one of my dream videos to make that I've got to get around to but it take a fair amount of research, is I want to do a horror westerns list real bad. And Bone Tomahawk would absolutely be on there. Oh, let's see. Oh yeah. Oh, when the mother and son are merging. See, I don't know if you've seen Together yet, the new horror movie with Alison Brie and Dave Franco. Really good movie. Really liked it. But the two people forming together is never as disturbing or gross as it is in Color Out of Space. So Color Out of Space does do that idea better. But I still really like Together. Do you have any deep cut recommendations? Oh my gosh, have you seen any of my videos? That's like every video I do. Um, I'll tell you one that I recently watched is Campfire Tales, which is like this little 90s slasher, not slasher, what am I saying? Little 90s horror anthology. Um, and low budget. It shows its flaws, but it's fun. And I had a good time with it. I've always, you should do a live commentary for the movie Cobweb. I do love Cobweb, and not just for the name. I know the name is perfect for me, but I do love that movie. Yeah, Class of 1984 is good. That movie is so wildly over the top, and people throw around the term a lot. This would never get made today, and a lot of times people say that. I'm like, yeah, sure it would. Class of 1984. I don't think that would ever get made today. That movie is insane. That's like the most over the top Fear the Youth movie ever made. Like teenagers are sadistic monsters, and we have to stop them. It's pretty great. Oh, let's see. Um, Lake Mungo. I am prepared to declare that Lake Mungo is the most divisive horror film ever made. Because whenever I talk about Lake Mungo, which has been on, I think, two, maybe three videos, it just lights up the comment section. And I get all these people talking about how much they love it, how great it is. And I get all these people talking about how it's like the worst movie ever made. Like the people who hate Lake Mungo hate it with like a Last Jedi passion. Like it's crazy. So like I think actually a commenter said this, and I think it's spot on. Lake Mungo is cilantro. And there's like something in your genes where like you're either wired to love it or you will hate it. For me, I am wired to love it. I think it's amazing. And it is one of the creepiest movies I've ever seen. I think it's one of the scariest films ever. And I get so many people telling me how boring it is. I just totally disagree. I'm never bored in that movie. Cause like that movie's like edited like a documentary, and it's just constantly like unfolding this story, and it's always revealing new things. And so much of the dialogue is improv, and the people feel so real. And it really just feels like you're watching these people go through this terrible stuff. And I love it. But wow, a lot of people hate that movie. It's crazy. Watching a goofy 70s movie called Legacy of Satan on Tubi. I don't think I've seen that one. I've heard of Legacy. I don't think I've heard of Legacy of Satan. Interesting. Let's see. Short horror movies. I mean, you could fill it all out with like movies from the 40s and 50s and just do like hour-long movies for sure. I filmed a video today where I talk about a movie from the 50s. It's like an hour long. Yeah, Campfire Tales is not great. Like I said, it's low budget. It shows its flaws, but it actually is a really good cast. And I think all of the segments are at least pretty good. And it's just like a fun little watch. Yeah, Lake Mungo. I think it's Rockland Graves' existential crisis. Evan from Rockland Graves. He made like an epic video about how impactful that movie was on him. Evan is awesome. Let's see. That would be great. Yeah, originally Richard Stanley was going to do at least a trilogy of Lovecraft movies after Color Out of Space. And I think it got put on hold because he got accused of doing some bad stuff. But I think I heard that those claims have been discounted. I think. Like, don't quote me on that. That's not news. But I think I heard that. So I think maybe he's coming back. I don't know. Interesting situation. Yeah, I agree. I think Lake Mungo is pretty amazing. We go. Last Jedi Passion. Anytime people like go crazy on the internet hating a movie, I'm like, oh my gosh, it's the Last Jedi again. That's how I kind of felt about 28 years later for a little while. Oh boy. Yeah, I love that movie too. So hope we get a hand-drawn animated horror movie. Ooh, that would be cool. Yeah. Cage does get madness. Absolutely. Yeah, if all of Richard Stanley's Lovecraft movies are starring Nicolas Cage, I'd be so down. That'd be awesome. Most underrated, undermentioned Giallo you've seen. Um what is I'm telling you, every time I go live I can never remember anything, and Giallo titles always run together. But one of my favorites is the case of the it's the one that got recently put out on 4K. Um, it's like case of the bloody iris. I was like some kind of flower or something. Case of the bloody iris is one I definitely would have said. It was one that I just randomly caught up with on streaming. And I thought it was so fun. What I really like about it is like it doesn't really do anything particularly different, but it's just like a perfect representation of exactly what Giallo is. Like it hits all the beats, but it does it all real well. But it recently got put out on 4K, so it got a lot more hype, and a lot of people, more people have seen it now. So I really like that one. I love the Red Queen kills 7 times. I don't know how under mentioned that one is, but that's great. I need to watch more Giallo because I went through a period where I just binge watched tons of them. But over the past couple of years, I haven't watched as many. So I kind of want to get back into it. Do you have a favorite artsy horror movie? I don't know how artsy we're talking, because some people would say like anything A24 is artsy, like The Witch. I don't know if I would, but if you would say The Witch, then I would say The Witch. Um, Under the Skin is definitely artsy, and like that movie was really scary. I thought Under the Skin was a scary, scary movie. So that would be one. I don't know. It's tough to like quantify that on like what's artsy enough. Oh, let's see. Cameron's Autumn Crow, High Fresh Hell. Oh yeah, that's it was Fresh Hell the book. I know he had a book and a short story collection. I think they're both Autumn Crow. I've read the book. I think maybe it is Fresh Hell, so I think maybe that's the one that I've read. Yes, I have seen Wishboard. Fun movie. Not great, but like that's some good campy 80s fun. There's a remake of it that just came out, but it didn't come to theaters near me. It's actually directed by Chuck Russell. I haven't heard great things, but I am curious to see it. I would like to see it. Yeah, and then Terrifier kind of did that scene again, but Bone Tomahawk already did it, and it was amazing. Yeah, I still haven't seen his third movie, Dragged Across Concrete, but a big fan of Bone Tomahawk and big fan of Brawl and Cell Block 99. I love to hear that. Thank you so much. That's kind of the vibe I'm going for. Oh, Brahm is a Krampus, the Yule Lord. That sounds awesome. I do like Christmas horror a lot, so I'm gonna have to look into that. Oh, let's see. Absolutely. You should check out my last fall video. I start out talking about that movie. It's my third or fourth biggest video on my channel, actually. Recently watched Chris Frankenstein Horror Dracula. Any recommendations that are similar to these movies? I'm really enjoying these movies. Boy, do I! Those are Hammer movies, and I love those. Um, the Gorgon, Curse of the Werewolf, and Phantom of the Opera in 1962. I'd say all those three are awesome, awesome Hammer movies, and they're all from Terrence Fisher, who directed those two. Oh, and I didn't even notice Near Dark. Yes, absolutely seen Near Dark. I'm one of the few people that has Near Dark on Blu-ray. I have that old Twilight-like cover Blu-ray release. And yeah, I talked about that in my top 80s vampire movies list. I just recently had somebody comment on my video of my top 15 modern vampire movies, which was the 2000s and on, and they're like, this list is terrible. Where's the Lost Boys and Near Dark? I'm like, dude, this list does not have the 80s. What are you talking about? Oh boy. Okay, Autumn Crow is the short story collection of Fresh Hell's full-length book. Okay, I've read Fresh Hell then. I've not read the short story collection. And I liked Fresh Hell. Hello, Philip. Thank you so much for dropping in, man. I appreciate it. Philip, I used to know back in high school. Let's see. You can only watch either Christopher Lee movies or Vincent Price movies for the rest of your life. Who are you picking? Oh man. Honestly, I'm picking Christopher Lee. I think Christopher Lee is the slightly better filmography. Plus, he's had a longer career, so there's just more stuff. But also, if we're talking about the best stuff from Christopher Lee, the best horror movies, like his Dracula movies, that first Frankenstein movie, you got the Gorgon, you got Two Faces, Dr. Jekyll, and then you got the Amicus stuff, Tales from the Crypt. No, not Tales from the Crypt. He's not in that one. Um, House That Dripped Blood. Yeah, a bunch of those Amicus movies. I think I am gonna have to go Christopher Lee. I think just the volume is bigger, but Vincent Price is awesome. I love him. That's a great question. I love that. Ooh, you hit that. You hit one of my most controversial takes. John Carpenter's Escape from New York. I'm not that big a fan of it. It's one of my lesser favorite John Carpenter movies. I don't know if that movie's like cilantro or something, but I'm like the only person that doesn't like cilantro in that case because most people think it's like amazing. I don't know. I just don't think it's that great. Because like it's an action movie, but the action is not very good. Um, I am like one of the only people in the world that is not a big fan of Kurt Russell as Snake Plissken in that movie specifically, though, because I just think he's too young. He's too young. He's too much of a pretty boy at that point in his career, and he's really just doing an impersonation of Clint Eastwood. So it doesn't even feel like Kurt Russell. Like it feels like Kurt Russell was just doing an impression. So that's kind of distracting for me. But by Escape from LA, I think he had grown into the role. And by then he's old enough. And I believe him more as Snake Plissken in Escape from LA. And I kind of find Escape from LA a more entertaining movie. Like that it's just more fun. And Escape from New York is just kind of dour and it's so visually dark. So I can't even like it's just like black everywhere. Whereas Escape from LA has more color to it. It's a little bit more vibrant. But yeah, that's probably one of the most controversial takes that I have because most people think that movie is amazing. Um, okay, Gigi is with me. There you go. Yeah, but I don't know. The atmosphere doesn't super work for me. The thing about Escape from New York is it feels more like a Walter Hill movie to me than a Carpenter movie. And I'm not the biggest Walter Hill fan. Um, it doesn't feel as much like Carpenter for me personally. But what's funny is I just said that like I felt like Kurt Russell was too young for the role in 1981. By 1982, he does The Thing, and he's totally believable as this gruff badass guy. But in The Thing, he's Kurt Russell, like he's playing a character. Whereas in Escape from New York, he's just a Clint Eastwood impression, like straight up. And I kind of wish he would have just played it like his kind of performance more so. But also, one of Kurt Russell's greatest strengths is humor by far. And he doesn't use any of it in Escape from New York. He uses a little bit of it in Escape from LA. So he's kind of plays to his own strengths a little bit more. Yeah, the action in Escape from LA is better. And there's some goofy CGI. Sure. That was the time period. It is what it is. Yeah, a lot of people think so. I like Escape from LA. I think it's hardly one of Carpenter's best movies, but also it has a killer ending. It's got a better ending than Escape from New York. I think the ending is awesome. It just goes for it. Uh, oh yeah, that movie is awesome. Witchfinder General is the name I primarily know it by. Oh yeah. I totally agree. I think Henry Cavill. I mean, Henry Cavill basically is doing that in The Witcher, and that's why, like, I'm not the biggest fan of Henry Cavill as Superman because I think Henry Cavill shines so much more in darker roles. Like, Henry Cavill was born to play anti-heroes. Like, he probably would have been a better Batman, honestly, than Superman. But as like the Boy Scout, good guy Superman, it doesn't quite fit. He's so much better in The Witcher and in Mission Impossible Fallout and even The Man from Uncle. But the new guy, David Cornsweet, he just fits Superman more. Like he's just much more like the Boy Scout type that I want Superman to be. Uh, yeah, you do. But it's Peter Fonda. How can you be mad about seeing Peter Fonda? It's great. Let's see. Yeah, and I think I am just not as attracted to like big city atmosphere as a lot of other people do. You know, I'm sure a lot of people are sick of hearing me say how much I love like the atmosphere in any small town horror movie or farmland horror movie. I'm just kind of attracted more to that atmosphere than I am to like a New York City atmosphere because I'm just not really a big city person. Yeah, that's one of those few movies that I will never watch under any circumstances because I know the kind of subject matter it is and it's just a no go for me. But guys from Splattercast are great. Yeah, and also like if I chose Vincent Price, I would lose The Devil Rides Out. Like Vincent Price is awesome. Christopher Lee has more great movies. He just does. You're not even talking about the Lord of the Rings movies too. I mean, you would lose the Lord of the Rings movies if you chose Vincent Price. Yes, I have. That's a movie I expected to love and I didn't. It's an action movie. It doesn't have very much action. And I didn't find the story super compelling, but I did really like the Powers Booth performance, especially. But I've always kind of meant to rewatch that one because I fully expected to love it. And I was shocked I didn't. So I want to give it another try. But my favorite Walter Hill movie is Southern Comfort. That movie's awesome. Oh yeah, and you get Bruce Campbell in Escape from LA too. It's great. Uh, See you, West Coast Dave. He's gonna go watch Rose Red because he has the time because he doesn't have any movie watching deadlines like I do. Oh, thanks, BB. I appreciate it. Ooh, that's the perfect vibe right there. Is a Halloween 4 opening. So good. Who's your favorite female villain in a horror or horror adjacent movie? Hmm. Horror adjacent. The first thing that comes to mind is Michelle Pfeiffer as Catwoman in Batman Returns. Just amazing. Um, I love the Medusa monster in the Gorgon. Um, that's a tough one. I just recently watched a movie that's going to be on a list a few videos from now called Cannibal Mukbang. It's a new one, and it has a really good female villain. That's a crazy movie that I'm excited to tell you guys about. Yeah, hard to think off the top of my head. I bet if you guys name some, I'd be like, oh yeah, there's so many. Yes, Trick or Treat, so awesome. Yeah, probably one of these days. I don't know when, but yeah, I mean that's a kind of inevitable. Oh my goodness, I missed a super. Oh, it was only a minute ago. Okay, thank goodness. Barnabas Collins, thank you so much for dropping in. Looking forward to your fall Halloween recommendation videos. Tis the season. Thank you, man, for that super chat. It's much appreciated. Barnabas Collins is one of the OGs around here, and yeah, it's gonna be fun. I'm so excited for the season. What's your opinion of melt horrors? I don't mean body horror, but like Melting Man and The Blob. Well, The Blob from 1988 is one of my favorite movies of all time. I think it's amazing. Yeah, I like The Incredible Melting Man. Always meant to see Body Melt. I haven't seen Body Melt yet, but I've heard that's a really fun movie. And then I guess Street Trash probably would fit in there, but I haven't seen Street Trash yet either. So that might have to be a subgenre I'd have to dive into more. Let's see. Oh, big fan of Kill Baby Kill. Yeah, really, really fun. That is probably my second favorite Mario Bava movie, just behind Black Sabbath. Um, yeah, it's just a classic gothic ghost story. And that's one of those movies that like it doesn't really do anything different. There's nothing really unexpected about it, except the fact that it has a hero character who's a witch, which is kind of cool. They go to a witch for help. But other than that, yeah, just a classic gothic ghost story, and it's good stuff. Do you have a movie you preferred over the book? Stardust, which is a Neil Gaiman book, and it was made into like this big fantasy adventure movie that was directed by Matthew Vaughn. And I love the movie. I think Stardust is so fun. Like I love those like classic swashbuckling romantic adventure movies, and Stardust totally fits in there. And I read the book, and the book is fine, but it's not near as fun. It's not as romantic. It's not as swashbuckling. It's not as good. So yeah, I would definitely prefer the movie for Stardust. Let's see. Oh, good, Anne Marie. Thank you. Yes, I have a new T-shirt in the T Public store that says "I love autumnal movies." Mine is in the mail, so I'll get mine soon. So yeah, that's a new shirt in the merch store, as well as the directed by Terrence Fisher shirt that I talked about. Oh yeah, Kathy Bates in Misery. 100% amazing female villain. I'm so bad at these on the top of my head questions, which begs the question why I do live Q&As, but I do them because it's fun to hang out with you guys. You can look like a fantasy nerd all you want. Also, like Lord of the Rings is like that's like as mainstream fantasy as it gets. So that's not even being a fantasy nerd. That's kind of just being a movie fan, really. Debbie from Adam's Family Values, amazing choice. So I knew there were so many that I could not think of. I've never seen Little Witches. No, interesting. Oh yes, Julia from Hellraiser and Hellraiser 2, 100%. That would be near the top of my list. Yeah, right. That is a movie that a movie I checked out having never heard anything about it. I haven't heard anyone talk about it, and it's new. No one's talking about it. I couldn't even find very much information about it online, but the poster on Tubi is so striking, and the name, I was like, what is this? And I watched a little bit of it, fully prepared to turn it off, and I did not turn it off. It's actually a pretty good movie. Lady Sylvia and Lair of the White Worm, great, great. Oh, and just Ingrid Pitt and the Vampire Lovers as Carmilla would be an awesome choice. And Lady Frankenstein in Lady Frankenstein, that would be a great choice. Thank you guys for jogging my memory. Yeah. Yeah, Powers Booth, awesome in that movie. Keith Carradine, awesome in that movie. Great cast. Yeah, cross-dressing pirate Robert De Niro is great. He's so fun in that movie. As Robert De Niro just let loose. And speaking of Michelle Pfeiffer as villains, ooh, she's a great evil witch in that. That movie's got an amazing cast. Let's see. And if for Daredevil fans, it's got Charlie Cox as the hero. So there you go. That was the first thing I knew Charlie Cox from. So when he was cast as Daredevil, I was like, Stardust guy. Cool. I Know What You Did Last Summer is another movie better than the book. There's a book for I Know What You Did Last Summer. I mean, I knew that movie was by Kevin Williamson. I didn't know he adapted it from a book. That's very interesting. Oh my gosh, yeah, Barbara Steele as the witch in Black Sunday. Yeah, yeah, she'd be way up there. Gladys from Weapons. Yeah, you know what's funny is during that whole movie, I did not even realize that was Amy Madigan. And I found out after the fact. I did not even recognize her. And I was so happy to hear that because like Amy Madigan is in so many great movies in the 80s and 90s. I'm so glad she got to do another big movie later in her career. And that movie's big now. It's like it passed $200 million at the box office. So go Amy Madigan. That's awesome. Never seen Mommy Dearest. Yeah, I know that's the movie about Joan Crawford, but I've not seen it. Yeah, The Witches wasn't a big fan of that movie because it spends so much time with a kid as a mouse. And I was like, this isn't what I expected from the movie The Witches, but I didn't see it as a kid. Oh, yeah, Kathy Moretti and Casper. Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, horror is good for these days. It's just great for actors in general. There's so many actors get such more interesting opportunities nowadays, like in horror than like in almost any other genre. I wish I recognized her in the moment. Now I want to rewatch it knowing that's her. You know. And Matilda May. Absolutely. Yeah. And now that I'm thinking about vampires, I love Lauren Hutton as the vampire in Once Bitten. Um Dracula's daughter and Dracula's daughter, although like she's kind of like it rides the line of villain and anti-hero in that movie. Um You could almost say, the werewolf in Ginger Snaps with Catherine Isabel. Yeah. Oh my gosh, yes, Angela in Sleepaway Camp. Absolutely, absolutely. All right, let me just kind of scroll through, see if there's any other questions I want to hit before we tap out. We're about 2 hours in. Thank you guys so much for popping in here and hanging out with me. It's been a lot of fun. Yeah, I think I've done everything that I plan to do in this stream. That's so fascinating. I had no idea that was a book. Yes. Yes, I have. I recently talked about it in my last video on witch movies, so you can check that out. I like it. It does struggle with being a little too slow. I think the first half works pretty perfectly. The second half, there's way too much characters just kind of wandering around waiting for things to happen. But I do like it. It has great witchcraft imagery. The main witch villain is great. That's another great female villain. She's really cool in it. So overall, I'm definitely a fan of it. It has really good vibes. Um, I don't even know if Toxic Avenger remake is a Hollywood movie. It might just be an indie movie because it took forever to actually come out. Uh, is there a cult horror you don't want them to remake? Good question. I am normally pretty open on horror remakes because if it's bad, I'm probably not going to check it out, so I don't really care. But then there are just a lot of good horror remakes. Horror is a good genre to do remakes with, I think, because it's a genre that is so dependent on execution. So even if it's the same story, I mean, you can almost say that like Halloween and Friday the 13th have been remade 1,000 times because they're just like a basic story framework. Dracula's been remade 1,000,000 times, if you want to say that. But it's so dependent on execution, so you can have a totally different feeling kind of movie, even if it's the same kind of story. So anything that I don't want to be remade, um, I don't know if I have an answer. I'm usually pretty open to it. Here's one. I really have no interest in a Gremlins remake because I think like so much of the appeal of Gremlins is the puppets, and they probably be CGI now. Let's be honest. So the puppetry and also just like that Joe Dante feeling, like Joe Dante movies just have a certain feeling that is so comfortable for me that like no other filmmaker quite does. And I don't really want to see it from anybody else. I have heard there might be like a legacy sequel for Gremlins coming because of the success of Beetlejuice, and I just don't feel like I care very much. So pretty much movies that are like so dependent on like practical effects, I kind of just want them to leave alone. I would say Fright Night, but it's been remade. I don't care much for the remake. The Lost Boys, there's one. Because so much of the appeal of The Lost Boys is the 80s vibe. And if you don't have the 80s vibe of it, then who cares? Like, it's just a movie about teen vampires, and we've had that a million times. So yeah, and the cast too. Like, without that cast, there's just no reason to do The Lost Boys, I don't think. I love the dance fight. Best scene. That is the scene you should remember. Now, Possession is getting a remake, and I'm totally open to it because it's being done by the guy that made the Smile movies. And especially when I saw Smile 2, it is like one of the most immaculately directed horror movies I've seen in years. Like, it is so beautifully made on a technical level. Like, it blew me away, like how beautifully that movie is made. So I'm like, yeah, let him do Possession. Like, I will happily check that out. And I think I heard Robert Pattinson is going to be in it, and that's perfect casting. Like, that sounds great. So I'm so down for it. Shay Money, thank you so much. 499 super chat. Idea for list: horror movies that feature puppets. Absolutely, like horror movies with puppetry would be awesome. I would love to do that kind of thing because I love puppets in horror movies. Even like the ghost monster that comes out of the closet at the end of Poltergeist. Even that's kind of a puppet kind of thing, and I love that stuff. I would only like a Dagon remake if someone like Eggers does it. I would be down for a Dagon remake pretty much across the board because it's such an interesting story. You know, it's particularly Shadow over Innsmouth. Um, and I love Stuart Gordon's version, but I'd be totally down for another version. It's not definitive. And that's the one that somebody earlier said Richard Stanley might be doing, and I'd be totally down for it. But I'm down for Eggers to do practically anything. I heard that too. If it's Robert Eggers, it's not going to be a bunch of CGI. There's just no. Robert Eggers is one of those guys that I don't think he has any reason to compromise. Like, he's just kind of at the top of the world. I heard he might be doing that, but Eggers has been attached to so many things over the last few years. I don't know how many of those things is going to happen. The thing that we know for sure he's doing is Werewolf, which I think is coming out next year. Yeah, that's a disturbing movie. crazy casting to cast Elijah Wood in that, but it worked. It really worked for sure. Let's see. Oh yeah, and Guillermo del Toro can do anything Lovecraft, and he has carte blanche. I wish he could have done In the Mountains of Madness, um, but that hasn't come together. As he says, because of budget, because it would cost so much, and nobody wants to put up that much money for a Lovecraft movie. Disappointing. I mean, maybe Netflix will. He seems to be in good with Netflix right now, and Netflix is down to like throw ridiculous amounts of money at stuff and not care about it. Most of the streaming services are. I heard about that. I would be obviously super down for that, and yeah, Willem Dafoe would be an amazing Scrooge. Oh shoot, yeah, I think they did do that. I haven't seen that movie yet, but I remember hearing about that release. I mean, no. I'm guessing that's a video game. In which case, I don't play video games, so I wouldn't know. But I know there are a couple Silent Hill movies, and I've not seen them. I'm kind of curious to see the first one in particular because I do hear it's pretty good, even though it's a lot of CGI. But I do want to see it. Oh, let's see. Okay. Well, I think I've gone through. Oh, it is a movie. Okay, cool. We'll have to see the other ones before. I think I've gone through all the questions. So thank you guys so much for hanging out with me. It's been super fun. Spooky season is going to be underway. So, like I said, Sunday, October 31st, autumn video. And then we're going to have a lot of fun videos all through the season that I'm so excited for. So, thank you guys so much. I will see you next time. Bye.